In this video we will try to explain what is shipping line and how does it work. Shipping lines are an integral part of the global supply chain. They are the mode of transport used to move goods from one destination to another, usually across international borders. In this article, we will look at what a shipping line is and how it works. A shipping line is a company that provides services for the transportation of goods by water. Shipping lines operate vessels, ships, to transport cargo from one port to another. These ships usually carry a variety of different cargo, including bulk commodities, containers, and sometimes passengers. The shipping line is responsible for the entire logistics process, from the loading and unloading of cargo, to the navigation of the vessel and the associated paperwork. Shipping lines are responsible for providing the necessary infrastructure and equipment to transport cargo. This includes loading and unloading docks, warehouses, and other necessary infrastructure. The shipping line also provides the necessary personnel to manage the entire logistics process. This includes dock workers, warehouse personnel, and navigators. Shipping lines also provide the necessary vessels and equipment to transport the cargo. When it comes to shipping cargo, the shipping line will first need to determine the size, weight, and type of the cargo. This will help them determine the type of vessel and the necessary equipment needed to load and unload the cargo. The shipping line will also need to determine the route the vessel will take. This will involve taking into account the prevailing weather and sea conditions, as well as the political and economic situation in the ports of call. Once the route and vessel have been determined, the shipping line will need to secure the necessary cargo insurance. This will cover the costs of any damages or losses that may occur during the voyage. The shipping line will also need to secure the necessary permits and licenses to transport the cargo. This will involve obtaining the necessary documentation from the relevant governments and port authorities. The shipping line will also need to arrange for the loading and unloading of the cargo. This will involve coordinating with the port authorities, as well as arranging for the necessary personnel and equipment to be in place. Once the cargo is loaded, the shipping line will need to monitor the voyage, ensuring that the cargo is delivered to the correct destination. Finally, the shipping line will need to arrange for the payment of the freight charges. This will involve negotiating with the various parties involved, such as the shipper, the receiver, and the port authorities. The payment of the freight charges will need to be made in accordance with the terms of the contract. In summary, a shipping line is responsible for providing the necessary services for the transportation of goods by water. This includes the necessary infrastructure, personnel, vessels, and equipment to transport the cargo. The shipping line is also responsible for the loading and unloading of the cargo, the navigation of the vessel, and the payment of the freight charges. Crew in a shipping line. Ship captains and officers. The most well-known people who work in the shipping line are the captains and officers who are in charge of the ships. Captains are the highest-ranking officers and are responsible for the overall safety and operation of the vessel. They are usually the most experienced and have the highest level of training. They make all the decisions concerning the navigation, operation, and crew management of the ship. In addition to the captain, there are other officers on the ship. These include the first officer, second officer, third officer, chief engineer, and other senior officers. The first officer is the second in command and is responsible for navigation, while the second and third officers are responsible for the crew and managing daily operations. The chief engineer is in charge of the maintenance and operation of the vessel's engines. Deckhands, engineers, and other crew. In addition to the officers, there are other crew on the ship that are responsible for various tasks. Deckhands are responsible for the maintenance and operation of the decks, as well as the loading and unloading of cargo. Engineers are responsible for the maintenance and operation of the ship's engines and other mechanical systems. Other crew include the radio operator, the medical staff, and the catering staff. Port staff. The port staff are responsible for the safe operation of the ship when it is in port. This includes checking the ship's paperwork, arranging for the necessary supplies, and ensuring that the ship is ready to sail. The port staff also handle the loading and unloading of cargo, as well as the customs clearance. Back office staff. The back office staff, which is usually based in the shipping line's office, is responsible for the paperwork, planning, and coordination of the vessels. This includes the booking of cargoes, liaising with customers, and ensuring that the vessels are properly serviced. They also manage the accounts and finances of the company. Other professionals. There are also other professionals who work in the shipping line, such as maritime lawyers and surveyors. Maritime lawyers handle legal matters related to the shipping industry, such as contracts, insurance claims, and disputes. Surveyors are responsible for inspecting ships and assessing their condition. Conclusion. The shipping industry is a complex system that involves many different kinds of people. From the captains and officers who are in charge of the ships to the back office staff who manage the paperwork and finances, there are many people who work in the shipping line. All of these people play an important role in keeping global trade running smoothly.